Mad Jack, the sword-wielding hero from World War II. In a war dominated by tanks, machine guns, and industrial-scale destruction, one man charged into battle as if he had stepped out of another century, armed with a longbow, a Scottish broadsword, and the eerie cry of bagpipes cutting through the smoke. Why would anyone in World War II fight with medieval weapons? And how did Mad Jack Churchill, the only soldier in the modern era, confirm to have killed an enemy with a longbow, turn what looked like madness into a legacy of fearless brilliance? Mad Jack Churchill, the man who charged through World War II armed with a longbow, bagpipes, and a sword, lived one of the most unusual military careers in modern history. Born in Hong Kong and trained at Sandhurst, he embodied the fearless eccentricity that would earn him the nickname Mad Jack. Posted to Burma with the Manchester Regiment during the quiet interwar years, Jack grew restless with routine life. In the 1930s, he poured his energy into learning the bagpipes and set off on daring motorcycle journeys across the Indian subcontinent. Returning to England in 1936, he left the army behind for civilian adventures, working as a model and even appearing as a movie extra in small film roles. Around this time, he discovered a passion for archery and trained daily until he became an expert marksman with the traditional longbow. His dedication paid off when he represented Great Britain at the 1939 World Archery Championships, showing remarkable focus and precision. When World War II broke out, Mad Jack immediately rejoined the Manchester Regiment as an officer and was soon deployed to France with the British Expeditionary Force. During the 1940 Battle of France, as the British retreated under relentless German pressure, Jack led small raids to slow their advance, refusing to yield without a fight. In these actions, he famously carried a longbow and a Scottish broadsword, weapons from another age that became his trademark. These became his chosen weapon, symbols of courage and tradition amid the modern chaos of war. He would become the only recorded soldier of the modern era known for using such medieval arms in real combat. Jack earned that distinction by actually killing an enemy soldier using a longbow, an act unique in the entire war. He struck down a German Feldwebel with a barbed arrow, making history as the last man to use a longbow in war. When asked why, he simply said, "Any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed." Later, during the Dunkirk retreat, he was wounded in the neck and joked dryly, "German machine gun casualty." He would also later be honored with another award for courage. He received the Military Cross for acts of bravery that stood out even among Britain's toughest soldiers. The award recognized his daring rescue of a wounded comrade from a German ambush, a feat that showed his loyalty and composure under fire. After Dunkirk, still restless, Jack volunteered for the elite British Commandos and completed their grueling training before being sent on new mission. In 1941, he was sent to WWII, Norway, as second in command of No. 3 Commando during Operation Archery, a daring raid against German forces. As his boat neared shore, he lifted his bagpipes and played March of the Cameron Men, the tune echoing through the icy air under enemy fire. Sword raised high, he led his men ashore, a fearless and surreal figure against the smoke and gunfire. The German garrison was defeated quickly. Prisoners were taken, artillery silenced, and enemy shipping destroyed on Molloy Island. For this bold success, Mad Jack earned a second Military Cross. By 1943, he was fighting in Italy once again, leading from the front with his characteristic energy. Commanding No. 2. Commando's goal was to eliminate German artillery and observation posts threatening Allied movements. The operation targeted the fortified town of Piegoleti, a key defensive point. Facing heavy defenses and being outnumbered, he split his troops into 6 columns and instead of sneaking, had them all shout "Commando" to confuse the Germans into thinking they faced a far larger attack. The tactic worked brilliantly. In the darkness, the Germans believed they were surrounded by hundreds of men. In reality, 50 commandos captured 136 prisoners with minimal losses. Mad Jack, assisted by Corporal Raphael, played a leading role in the engagement. Together, they took 42 prisoners and even captured a mortar team, Jack using his broadsword once again in close combat. After leading the captured Germans back to British lines, he kept his composure as always. Having lost his sword earlier in the fight, he returned alone later that night to retrieve it, typical of his daring nature. On his return, he ran into an American patrol accidentally heading toward enemy lines. Amused and irritated, he warned them he wouldn't rescue them a bloody third time. In 1944, he found himself in Yugoslavia leading British Commandos alongside Yugoslav partisans against entrenched German troops. Their target was Hill 622 on the island of Brač, a vital position. The assault was fierce and casualties mounted rapidly under German. Eventually, Jack was left alone out of ammunition. Instead of surrendering, he played tunes on his bagpipes until a grenade blast knocked him unconscious. Captured by German troops, he was taken to Berlin for interrogation. His captors suspecting he might be related to Winston Churchill because of his surname. He was then imprisoned at Sachsenhausen concentration camp, where he endured months of confinement before planning his escape. In September 1944, Jack and an RAF officer managed to crawl beneath barbed wire through an unused drain to escape the camp. They set out for the Baltic coast on foot, but were eventually recaptured by German troops before reaching freedom. Transferred to a new camp in Niederdorf, Austria, Jack escaped once more in April 1945. He seized the chance to flee under cover of darkness when the camp's power failed. The blackout gave him his moment. He slipped away silently into the alpine night. Over the next days, he trekked more than 150 miles through the cold, treacherous terrain of the Alps. He survived on vegetables and scraps scavenged from gardens along the way. After 8 grueling days limping on a sprained ankle, he encountered a U.S. armored column that helped him return to England. When he learned the war in Europe was nearly over, he tried to join the Pacific Front, only to arrive after Hiroshima and Nagasaki ended the conflict. Frustrated that the fighting was over, he famously joked, "If it wasn't for those damn Yanks, we could have kept the war going another 10 years. After the war, Jack remained restless. He qualified as a parachutist, transferred to the Seaforth Highlanders, and later served in Palestine in 1948 as second in command of the 1st Battalion Highland Light Infantry. During an ambush on a Jewish medical convoy by Arab forces, Jack, dressed in full uniform and accompanied by only 12 men, calmly walked through gunfire to organize the evacuation. "I grinned like mad," he later said. "People are less likely to shoot at you if you smile." He went on to coordinate the safe evacuation of 700 civilians from Mount Scopus Hospital in Jerusalem. Mad Jack finally retired from the British Army in 1959, decorated with 2 Distinguished Service Orders, a fitting tribute to a man who had lived by courage and instinct. In the end, Mad Jack Churchill's legend wasn't defined by the sword he carried or the arrows he loosed, but by the spirit behind them. Across 33 years of military service, he fought in multiple major WW2 campaigns from France to Norway, Italy, and Yugoslavia. Earned 2 Distinguished Service Orders and 2 military crosses, captured over 40 prisoners in a single operation, survived being wounded, and escaped from German captivity twice. When the war ended, he famously lamented, "If it wasn't for those damn Yanks, we could have kept the war going another 10 years. His life proves something modern warfare often forgets: technology may win battles, but courage is what makes a man unforgettable.